Hello friends, here we are. Tomorrow is the new moon solar eclipse, and here's the chart over Washington DC. I'm going to let you know that I am traveling, so this is going to be a little bit rough overall. I have these red post-its here because we'll talk about these later. This new moon solar eclipse happens at 3:16 p.m. in Washington, D.C. Okay, and we may be having interruptions. Okay, so this is at 3 o'clock, 3:16. So it's in the afternoon. So if this is the eastern horizon where the sun rises and sets, we find the sun conjunct the moon here at 3:16 p.m. in the 9th house. And remember, there's been a lot of activity with Putin in this 9th house. We've seen it for the past couple months, and this time in the 9th house, that activity opposes the 3rd house, and the natural ruler is Gemini, which is Donald, where we have Saturn and Pluto. The tarot cards for Saturn and Pluto are the Devil and Judgment. And the Judgment card and the Devil card keep showing up. And a lot of the problems that are surrounding Saturn and Pluto have to do with the King of Swords and the Queen of Swords and justice. So, New York Attorney Generals and Robert Mueller and the Mueller report. So this eclipse, we've been having this ongoing seesaw, teeter-totter of this drama. Trump, Russia, Justice Department, law enforcement, everywhere. Well, finally, this eclipse is the trigger that gets things to move on and out of this stale atmosphere of staged gaslighting garbage. Okay? Now, when we look at the angles of the chart, on the ascendant, we have Scorpio. For Scorpio, its rulers are Mars and Pluto, which are very active here. It is also opposite Uranus, which is very close to the descendant, which means a lot of sudden, shocking news for the people because the ascendant belongs to the president. Remember, I said in any horoscope of a government, the sun always represents the president. Interesting, it's in the 9th house. Putin's house, we might as well just say, conjunct the moon, having the rule over our lives as people, right? So at the midheaven, we have 10 Leo. So the sun rules the midheaven. The sun is in Cancer, and it's disposited by the moon, because Cancer is ruled by the moon. These two oppose Saturn-Pluto. At the lower heaven, we have the sign Aquarius, that is ruled by Uranus. So everything bearing down in DC has a tone of unexpected, explosive, revolutionary, sudden, freakish, information, winds, communications, and shocking information. And that is absolutely primed for this new moon solar eclipse, especially when you start overlaying Donald's solar return, which was just kind of a nightmare, as we all know. So there's a lot of activity that's happening below the horizon, things we cannot see. These are all the things that they are concerned about. And with Donald's solar return, there's a very interesting stage being set. The lower heaven, 10 Aquarius. That is the exact point of his solar return moon and Uranus. So shocking, emotional, I want to say explosive because it's opposing Mars. And Donald's natal Pluto, destruction, life, death, transformation, birth, is conjunct the midheaven. These are fixed signs. So the moon and Uranus are active here. Equidistant on either side, it's being supported by, I don't know if you want to think of like columns or like walls if you're setting a stage. His midheaven, that which he aspires, and the midpoint of Saturn-Uranus, which has to do with obstacles and restrictions, like he's trying to fight information, scientific information and evidence, and Venus-Jupiter, his gains and luck and monies and incomes. See how that all sets up? So that's not what we're supposed to see. His solar return ascendant is over here making a lot of noise. I'll go over here because his solar return, Mars-Saturn, and Mercury-Saturn. Mars-Saturn is like where an immovable object meets an unstoppable force. So much energy, something has to give. And his Mercury-Saturn is there, which has to do with news, communications, children are there. This comes to a head and is in square to the Saturn. It's also in square to the Sun, Moon, and the North Node. Things are going to break open, especially sitting on top of this explosive Sun-Uranus opposite transit Mars-Mercury and his natal Pluto. This month is going to be rocking. We need to pay attention over here on the descendant. This is the house of we the people. This is how it keeps playing out for us. Not only do we have Uranus conjunct the descendant at 5 degrees Taurus, 57 minutes. When it's that close to the horizon, it's almost like things are imminently going to happen. That is conjunct Donald's part of Mars from his solar return, so his aggression, his warring nature. Mars and Uranus is explosive. It's not a good combination, especially if he's angry with all these restrictions and you now have an emotional thing going over here, and his solar return moon was over here. So, and then the way it's aspecting over here, expect fireworks for the people. And his solar return Uranus is sitting right there. So, I will tell you right now, yes, I am very concerned about truly the nature of this chart. It has, there is violence in here. There is explosive things going on in here. There are crafted plans abroad to affect what's happening in D.C. Donald's Pluto, his Pluto is one of his power planets. It's his obsessive nature. It's his thing that he can't let go of, is sitting right at the top of the midheaven. This is like his secret weapon he always uses to get back at and be destructive. I will tell you that earlier, I am calm. I want all of you to be calm about this. I'm sharing this for your information. After I looked at all the players and everyone at G20 and what happened in North Korea and the Six Wands mob, our authorities here know what's going on. They know what's going on. The people involved, the plan, they know. And I feel like that's all I can really say about that right now. But I feel good. I am not going to worry about this, okay? Because this is Donald's war with Putin. Putin is acting nice on the one side, but on the other side, he wants to bring him and the United States down. And I don't think he's going to be successful. Okay, we'll come back over here to the ascendant, which is 4 Scorpio opposite Uranus. In Donald's solar return, here's his moon. It's in square to what he's being driven to. It's in square to everything that is bearing down beneath the scenes. It's not a good position. The part of fortune, his luck is hidden from him. He can't see it. It's like a blind spot. At 6 Scorpio, his part of tragedy, fatality, is conjunct the ascendant. I don't know if there's like a fake event going on or a real plot going on, but that is very close to the ascendant, meaning it's very active. At 20 degrees Scorpio, his part of discord and law, which means provocation. I've already seen the trends about Antifa. I'm already seeing the attacks going on abroad. Maybe that's what it's feeding off of. I just keep feeling like something's being staged here, and Putin and MBS and G and Un are all in on it. But our authorities know. Okay? So, let's go up to the really bad part. Sorry, you guys. I just want you to know. Okay, your job this week is to stay calm and centered because people might be freaking out. Your job is not to freak out. Your job is to say, let's just take a deep breath. Let's see what's really going on here. Let's get more information. Okay, let's go out. Let's unplug, turn off our mobiles. Let's just go get some ice cream or something. Let's just go be with our families. That is your job. I hope that's what you do. So, yuck. In this 9th house, we have so much activity where this eclipse is. Sun and Moon conjunct 10 degrees Cancer. This is almost conjunct with USA's natal sun. But here's the thing. She's getting energy back even though it doesn't look like it. It's almost like she's trying to toss Donald like a bucking horse, get him off of her. For Donald now, look at this. His natal 10 Cancer is his Mars midheaven midpoint. So where his Mars is and his midpoint, this is the thing that he's been obsessed with to aim for all of his life. Well, here it is. It's kind of like a culmination. The North Node, that's the messenger of where we have to go. The South Node is over here by Saturn and Pluto. That's the past. The North Node is sometimes thought of life messenger for happiness. But for Donald, look at this. At 22 Cancer, it's his part of decapitation. And I don't mean literal decapitation. It's just like kind of like cutting the head off the snake in terms of a plan or action. His Mercury-Venus is conjunct that as well. So Mercury-Venus, think about income gains. In the 9th house, money far away. Mercury, his children, communications, contracts, agreements, electronics. And then right at 23 degrees Cancer, oh, and that 22 degrees is opposite Pluto. Oh my God. He's no help. He's just like screwed himself. But then here, at 23 Cancer, after whatever horrible thing happens, is his part of change. We have change, like instant. The ascendant is ruled by Pluto. Change, change. I've been seeing death and change so much. Like I kept feeling like he has to walk away. Whatever's happening at this new moon solar eclipse, it's related to that. But to get there, we have to leap through this ring of fire. We'll just let him go by himself. We'll just stand around and watch, eat popcorn. Don't cry, okay? Or if you think you're a crier, grab your tissues. Let's see, what else do we have? It's just ugliness. What he's dealing with the 9th house overseas is like the part of Anoretta, which is 7 degrees. That's between the Mercury and the midheaven. Well, Anoretta is kind of like getting your head chopped off from overseas. His midheaven has Pluto, which is destruction. I mean, this sets the tone for the rest of the eclipse cycle in this month. Not only is that his Pluto, it's also the Mars-Saturn midpoint in his natal chart. It's also his part of charm. So he'll be smiling like he's smiling, you know, doing pressers or with Kim Jong-un, but inside he's severely disappointed and feels totally imprisoned. In fact, imprisoned follows it, so maybe he'll get imprisoned, who knows. But this is what's going on, and the weather shaping up on the East Coast, this is going to be active for the month, so I would expect some really destructive weather there too, especially mid-Atlantic states, you know, up and down the seaboard. So that's the eclipse information. I'm going to go ahead and then we'll draw the cards to see how this all goes. That shall be very interesting, okay? So, don't worry. It's awful and ugly, but this is Donald's awesomest, most crazy reality show he's been working up his entire lifetime to have with all the worstest enemies and villains. But he's going to be paying the price for it. Okay, thanks, you guys.